Hello, I've just been watching a film on Netflix. It's a horror film and it's about the worst film I've ever seen in my life. So I thought maybe I would do something a bit more useful and talk about something that I probably should have talked about 2 years ago when I started my YouTube channel, because it's such a fundamental part of Chinese medicine. But when I started the channel, I only started it because it was in the middle of the pandemic. And some friends of mine, and one in particular who was very ill, needed treatment and we weren't allowed to travel. So I couldn't, and he lived far away. So I made some videos to train one of his neighbors remotely to treat him. And he, broadly speaking, suffered from qi deficiency. So deficiency of the basic substance, vital substance. Hippies call it energy, the body's energy. He didn't have enough of it because he was sick. So that's how I started 2 years ago. Now, equally important, maybe even more important, is Chinese call the energy qi. It literally is a picture of a grain of rice with steam coming off the top. So the energy that comes from food, for example, it comes from other things too. But so we have qi deficiency, which my friend had, and many people have. And we have qi, this video is about qi stagnation. So in the case of qi stagnation, we have enough energy, but it's stuck. And the analogy that I always like to use is like the London Underground Metro Underground map. You have all different lines and they're different colours. And if you get on the train and the train is always supposed to be moving. You don't get on a train to sit and look at the view. A train is not like the beach. You don't sit and relax and sunbathe. You get on the train to get from A to B. So the body's energy is the same. It's not supposed to stay in one place necessarily. It's supposed to keep moving. And if it doesn't keep moving, you get mentally and physically uncomfortable or sick. So in the analogy of the underground map, if anyone who lives in London will know, the train stops in the middle of the tunnel. It's very annoying. And people start getting, first, they're quiet at first, and then when it goes on a bit longer, they become irritable, and then when it goes on a bit longer, they become even more irritable, and hot and bothered, you could say. So the body's energy, qi energy, is inherently warm, and if you have too much of this energy stuck in one place, like the train is stuck in the middle of the tunnel, which ought to be circulating, then one of the consequences is that you can get heated up psychologically or sometimes also physically. So if anybody has injured knees or injured arms or injured any injury, it can sometimes heat up uncomfortably. So maybe the most important, maybe the most common manifestation of qi stagnation is psychological. For many of in our acupuncture practice, Chinese medicine practice outside of China, we have pressures on our lives and we become irritable, we become angry, but we can become depressed, we can become emotional. So for example, ladies that suffer from premenstrual stress, premenstrual tension, this is exactly qi stagnation, temporarily at that point in the cycle. So it's often also called liver qi stagnation because according to Chinese medicine, the liver is responsible for the emotional state. Obviously, this is very different from normal medicine in which the liver just, does what it does. So, but in Chinese medicine, every organ of the body has both a physical level and a psychological one. And there's a chart that I'll probably produce somewhere, but you can find it on the internet, of the 5 organs of the body according to Chinese medicine and the 5 different emotions that belong to each of the organs. However, the liver is the controller of the overall emotional state, and so with acupuncture, the most common point has saved my sanity 100 times and is a truly miraculous thing. It's called Tai Chong in Chinese, or Liver 3 in the sort of international system. The best point for liver qi stagnation or qi stagnation. And among herbal medicine, probably the most classic formula for liver qi stagnation is Xiao Yao San. It means happy wanderer powder, because when you take it, you sort of wander around happily, not worrying about anything. There is another one which I prefer, because for myself, when I get stressed, I tend to produce heat. It's called Jiao Wei Xiao Yao San, and I have made a video about this a year or something ago, and it has been somewhat popular among people, and so therefore I will put a link to it somewhere in one of these corners. And that's it, liver qi stagnation. For the moment, this is a video, and I probably will write an article about it in which I may probably certainly put more detail. For now, good night. It's about 1 in the morning, 2, and cheers. And actually, if you do drink, of course in moderation, it is one of the reasons it's recommended in Chinese medicine. It circulates your body's energy. Circulate your body undoes. So if you've had a bad day, you feel stressed, you feel irritable, oftentimes if you have a drink, it makes you feel better. In Chinese medicine, they would say that's because it unstagnates stagnated energy. It makes your energy flow, and because your energy also controls your psychological state, smooths your mood. So cheers for now. I hope this helps, and see you again next time.